All right. Hello, everybody. It's DJ Gerry here, and we are going to talk all about the legendary Rolling Stones concerts in Los Angeles. So uh, stay tuned because we're going to have a special guest. We're going to have Cami from Cami's Playlist, which is an awesome YouTube channel. And we'll take questions from you guys as well. Um, we here at Starlight Music, I've tried to provide a lot of examples for you. If you didn't get to see it, at least online, you could see the performances for yourself. And in many cases, I think the performances exceeded our expectations. And that's true of the Stones. That's pretty much what they do. So I'm going to try to share this screen. I don't usually do these broadcasts on the phone before, so let's see if I can invite someone to come up. I have a guest here. We're going to invite a guest, and we're going to try to share the link. It should be copied to clipboard. You should see it in the comments there. Let's see. All right, so I'm going to take a minute or two, see if we can locate the stream, make sure everything's going up the way it's supposed to be going. I haven't done live streaming like this for a while, so this is kind of cool. It looks like we have 5 guests with us today, and let's see if I can see some of your comments. Okay. Looks like we got about 8 people. Oh, there's Cami. She's not able to join the live. Okay. Let me see if I can do something to change this. I'm not sure if this is because I tried to schedule this in a different way, and I'm going to see if I can share that screen there. Invite a guest. I'm going to try it one more time. No, I might just have to manually type it out. I don't know. They're not really going in. Are you guys seeing my face? Because I'm just seeing a buffering going on in here. I think this is the old one. Yeah, we're trying to get to the new one here. Okay, it's confusing. Okay, I think I'm in the right one here. We got 13 people watching us. Okay, I think I'm in the right one here. And I'm going to try to type. I'm going to try to type in the all else fails. You just do it manually. And I'm going to try to type. I'm going to try to type in the all else fails. You just do it manually. And I'm going to try to type. I'm going to try to type in the all else fails. You just do it manually. And I'm going to try to type. I'm going to try to type in Okay, turn off this sound here. Okay, this one is actually the right one. So hopefully that link is going to work for you. And we can get Cami on as soon as possible. I got a new computer, and the computer obviously doesn't have a camera hookup, so I'm back to my iPhone. Seems like but the iPhone is a little limited in the features as far as inviting guests and looking at the streams and so forth. All right, I think I'm going to turn this thing this way. That way, yeah, that's a lot better. I can see you all now. All right, there we go. We're full screen. How's that for advanced technology? Okay. Anyway, we've got 21 guests joining us. Thank you so much for being here, people. I'm really glad you're all able to join us. And let's see what else we're waiting for. Cami, hopefully my my link has worked, and we are able to bring her up on our. She has a fantastic music channel. She was at the Rolling Stones show, and she said that was one of the most important concerts for her to attend. And I'm dying to find out what she thought of the show after she attended, and why was, out of the 100 shows she's seen, why was this the most anticipated? All right. I'm going to try to invite you one more time on this. Let's see, invite a guest. And it says copy to clipboard. Is anything coming to the clipboard? It says it was. So hopefully, I'm going to try to do it this way as well. There's the picture of Cami over there. She is. She's going to come up on our board. Is anybody else out there has seen the Stones at all? Have you got to see their current tour? Because I know there was a lot of talk about replacement drummer Steve Jordan. Like how did that work out and so forth. So okay, how about this new link? Is this new link working for you? Technology is the kind of thing that either works great or it brings you back to the days of the horse and buggy. Oh, you saw the St. Louis show. Tammy, welcome to the show. Look at this. Can you believe the St. Louis show is out already? And it's not even been a month. That was on the 29th of September. Look at this. I got this on Etsy.com. It has the whole set list. This was the show you were at. That's really cool. I'm going to give out one of these, so maybe one or two of them. So stick around. I'll tell you how you can go about claiming them. They're really cool. It's a double album. It's got the entire set. Starts out with a tribute to Charlie Watts, and then it goes to It's Only Rock and Roll, Tumbling Dice, Under My Thumb. A lot of cool stuff. All right, let's see how this new link is going. I know it's a little. We're just kind of easing into this because we're trying to bring our very special guests on. Oh, Jordan was good. So yeah, I mean, I think he's getting better every night. I think he started out. When we watched some of those preliminary shows, he was kind of heavy-handed. He's got a very muscular sound, and I think he's been using like some of Charlie's technique, those jazz techniques and things like that. So I think he's working out really well. He's a nice addition to the group. I think Keith Richard played great. I really did. I mean, he has that style that he plays kind of like within, syncopation, those up strokes. Did you know that he actually taught Pete Townsend how to do the windmill? That's right. Pete Townsend saw Keith Richards doing this in the 60s at one of the concerts, and he said, "Do you mind if I borrow that and go full windmill there?" So, yeah, Keith Richards was awesome. Are you still having a hard time getting in, Cami? I'm going to try to send you one more link here to see if we can. I feel bad about this. We had this thing set up in advance, and I'm having a hard time getting you on the stream here. I don't know. It's going to say guest, invite a guest, and what if I do it the old-fashioned way? Copy and then copy and paste there. Sure way to put that on. All right. Okay. Thank you for posting. Love the Stones. Well, I'm glad you guys. You were tremendous. We had such a great amount of people watching that second stream, the Sunday night concert. It's like up to like 75,000 views. That's like unheard of for a live stream. That's amazing. It was worth holding up the camera the whole time. Um, one of the comments said, "Why were you holding a camera? Why you should have been watching the show." I was watching the show, but this way I get to share with all my friends all over the world, and then we get to go back. The people who've seen it, they can go back and have a little souvenir. So it is fun. I think I couldn't have just watched it without recording it, without sharing it with you. Yes, I think the show is getting better. Opening night, they had a great tribute to Charlie Watts. Do you notice that Mick Jagger, every time he introduces Charlie Watts, is the only time in the evening he gets winded? He's always, "I'm Charlie. I saw the pictures." Just notice he always does that, like heavy breathing, like he's just, very emotional and everything. But he can run across the stage and do all this stuff. He's not out of breath at all. But when he talks about Charlie, it's amazing. Must be hard for all of them. I did go both nights. I We went Thursday night, and it was kind of a trial run for me. And then we got better seats on Sunday. I don't know if it showed. I mean, it's such a big arena. I was not that far away, but it's such a massive arena. It probably looked like I was, miles from them. We were in the club VIP area. Um, you said David Gordon, welcome to the stream. Thought they could not sound good without Charlie, but I have to admit they sounded better than they have in literally decades. Yeah, that's Anonymous 106. I wonder how you got that name. And you're saying hi. Well, welcome to the stream. That's right. Pleased to meet you. um, you know, uh, I was just blown away by it because you know, people have been saying the Stones are old and they're has-beens and they need to give it up. And I don't know. I don't ever see them like losing it. They always seem like they're just always exceeding our expectations. So it was great. I'm going to try one more time to share this invited guest. I'm sorry, Cami. It's just, it's supposed to be copied to the, comment thing. So I don't know what happened. I cannot imagine holding the camera up. Great work. Beautiful share. Thank you. That was the unspeakable. I think I had a better time on YouTube than I would have. The sound sometimes sounded better on the phone too than it did. The first night it was very echoey because I don't know if they just hadn't gotten the sound together or what the problem was, but it was extremely echoey. And when I listened to the playback on the phone, I said, God, it sounds better on the phone than it did in real life. Really, the phone kind of screened out some of the echo. Oh, I don't want, I'm getting my, speaking of echo, I'm on like a 5 second delay. I hit the audio button on the computer. So I'm just trying to read your comments. Oh, sorry about that. I cannot imagine. Don't stop. Rolling Stone. I know, like, people want them to stop. Like, why? There'll be an eternity without the Rolling Stones one day. Why do we need to rush them into retirement? If they're really willing to go out and play, and they sounded like they were in their prime still. I mean, the songs came out great. And I always ask people, I'll say, find a younger group that has more hits, that has a more energetic front man. That's, people are just going to sit there spellbound for 2.5 hours. And, what they put the audience through, the $80 and up parking, and, you got to go through, it's like PSA and wait in these long lines and traffic. I mean, people give up a lot to go to these shows. Nobody's putting a gun at their head. They want to go because they want to go. Cami, you went to both nights too, I take it. Cami said she enjoyed the second night better, but the second night you were in the pit. Wow, the first one you were far away. So you also upgraded. The second one, because I had never been to the SoFi Stadium before, so I didn't realize, you need to get better seats if you really want to be a part of it. Mick Jagger is definitely my favorite frontman. His energy is just incomparable. Yeah, he's it's the greatest show on earth. I mean, people are just spellbound by the whole thing, and I think the mix of personalities and the chemistry has always worked well. Um, People say they should have never, they should stop. They have never seen them play. That's Liam says that. Tammy White, the set list that Ronnie Wood makes up for the show is pretty. He does for each city. Great artwork. Oh yeah, I've seen him do that. They post these shorts and things like that also on YouTube. Ron Wood is amazing. I wish they would let Ron Wood sing. Even a verse or something. I really enjoy his albums, his solo albums, and it's just a shame that his voice is, well, just relegated to backup singing. I'd like to hear him do at least one song, or I really love the way he does that Bob Dylan song called 7 Days. The Unspeakable. I think it's funny that they used to be the nasty boys of rock and roll. Now they are mainstream millionaires doing multi-generational family shows. Now it shows you the culture has evolved. Yeah, because Mick Jagger, they were really edgy back in the 60s. Would you let your daughter marry a Rolling Stone was the question. The Beatles were more of the family oriented shows, but they've come a long way to, I mean, they changed more than the music. They changed the whole culture. I can't, Beatles and the Rolling Stones, a lot of those groups, I can't imagine the world was in black and white before they came onto the scene, or let's say till Elvis came onto the scene. Cami is saying, I thought they are this big, they wouldn't care, but they actually pull up for a really good show. One of the best I've seen for sure. Yeah, this was my maybe sixth or seventh Rolling Stone show. I had seen them as far back as 1981, and they were at the Coliseum in LA. And I remember Prince. You remember Prince, the Purple Rain guy? He opened for them. He wasn't that well known, and you have to realize back in 1981, the audiences were very different between rock and roll and people who listened to top 40 and funk. So it was, they booed him off. And I remember Bill Graham, the famous promoter, got up there and he said something like, all right, who booed him? Anybody out there boo him? And then this one guy with blonde hair gets up and says, yeah, I did. He says, you're proud of yourselves? Come up on the stage. He says, I'm throwing you out of here. And He said, anybody else boo Prince? And there was not a word out of anyone in the 100,000 people there. It was just crazy. Liam said the first time I saw them was Hyde Park 2013, so quite late in their career. I have that one. It's a DVD CD. It's a great concert. Queued for hours to get front row. I'm amazed how you got to the front row. That's pretty cool. You must have been there for like weeks to get in line. Yes, Prince did get booed both nights. And it was all planned. People in line, I went to the second show and they were talking about it, how the first show they booed him and that they were going to do it again. And I thought he was kind of cool. He was a bit quirky. You know, he came out with his trench coat and he had a jock strap and he was playing this Hendrix solos and had this funk music in the background. And I said, oh, I'd like to listen to this guy. But everybody was just throwing cups at him and trash and booing him. And they really weren't giving him a chance. But you'd see a year or two later when the 1999 album broke, you know, he was crossing over into rock audiences. I'm editing my newest video and said that I always wanted to see Prince. Yeah, I'm sorry you didn't get a chance to see Prince, Cami. He was here in LA, I think it was around 2011. And he did something called the 21 night thing, and he was at the LA Forum, like literally like 21 nights. He would just announce it a few days in advance when the show was, and he would charge $25 for general admission, which is unheard of. I mean, you could $25 to see Prince. So I went back like 3 or 4 times, and I remember my family was saying, "Why are you going so much?" You know, I said, "It's an opportunity. You know, we go see these guys. You don't know how, if they're coming back or not. It's frightening, but the the rate of attrition." Tammy White said, "Who was the cover band for L.A. at the SoFi Stadium?" The Revivalists from New Orleans, seen them in 1989 at Busch Stadium, St. Louis, at their Steel Wheels tour. They had someone named Ghost Town. I didn't see the opening acts because I'm not the most punctual person. I was just having a hard time getting there before the first chord. Plus, it was very crowded. It was hard to get parking and so forth. But it was just, it was crazy. So Karen saw them in '64, Toronto Maple Leaf Gardens. Wow, with Bill and Brian. Can't imagine they sound any better than that. Better than then. Different, I think the Stones have become like a bigger band since the '60s in the sense that they have all these backup singers and they've got all these other rock and roll people there playing with them. I mean, when they started out, they were just like 5 people, and now they've got, probably 25 people on stage with them, keyboard players and saxophonists and backup singers. So I think it's a fuller sound from what I've heard. I haven't seen them in the '60s, but I have heard, a lot of their recordings, and it just seems like a fuller sound, not necessarily better or worse, but just kind of different. Let's see. Oh, you were mega sunburned. Oh, at the Liam said when he was at the Hyde Park. That was a great concert, by the way. Girlfriend hit Keith with an apple. Well, that was in. Well, I wonder which girlfriend that was. I'm trying to think which one that could have been. And why would she throw an apple at him, of all things? um, Cinematic Passage. Give us a definitive opinion on the Beatles versus Stones debate. Well, one of the greatest Rolling Stones documentary was called 25 by 5. I believe it's only available on VHS, but it's also on YouTube. And basically, Keith Richards said it all. He said the Beatles just, kicked down the door and they followed. And you look at some of their albums, like, you had Sgt. Pepper's, and then you had the Satanic Majesty's Requests. You had Let It Be from the Beatles, Let It Bleed from the Stones. I wonder if any of that was connected there. I'm thinking it might have been. But, it was just, I think it's just different in that sense, where the Beatles may have been a bit more diverse in the 60s, but I think that the Stones have had a lot of decades to become relevant and to stretch out into a lot of different styles. So I think they're pretty competitive as far as great music. And it's just, I think the Stones are just a little bit more edgy than the Beatles. I don't know, what do you guys think about that? But different bands, of course. When I went out to see Desert Trip, I don't know if any of you have seen that. That was back in 2016. They had some of the most important, influential bands playing at that concert weekend. I was out in Coachella. You had Bob Dylan opening for the Rolling Stones. I mean, that's pretty crazy. And then you had Neil Young opening for Paul McCartney the second night. And then you had Roger Waters from Pink Floyd and The Who. I mean, those you all of those bands were just amazing. I was at Sunday's concert near the Rafters. This is Love and Music 562. Still one of the best concerts I've been to. The backup girl singer was awesome. I think you're referring to Sasha Allen. Really, yeah, there was a lot of electricity. Her voice was amazing and great performer too. And the repartee between her and Mick Jagger, there was a little bit of tension going on there. It was great. You thought it was 1964. What is your favorite live version of a Stones track that you've seen? I really love the way they do "Gimme Shelter." That's just such a great song. You never get tired of it. But I'm almost liking the live versions better than the studio is amazing too. So I think the Stones, their music comes alive in concert. It really expands. Some songs I don't know if they're able to really get as well as the studio. Like I haven't really heard a live version of Beast of Burden that sounds better than the studio. They did perform that. I'm glad they performed. It sounded great and everything, but there's somehow they just can't do that one, as well as the studio recording. But a lot of them they can, a lot of them they could either surpass or at least make it as good. Living in a Ghost Town was good. Yeah, Cami's playlist. Living in a Ghost Town was really cool because they made it into like kind of a reggae beat, and I agree, that's one of my favorite songs about lockdown. Cinematic Passage between their Satanic Majesties and Sgt. Pepper's. I think Satanic aged better. Wow. And sounds more fresh today. Take Citadel against any Pepper track. It's almost proto-punk with the sound in a way. That's interesting that you think. Sgt. Pepper's is an amazing album, but there's some clunkers in there as well. I love George Harrison. I didn't like those Indian songs that he did. I didn't think those were his best. He is George Harrison was one of the most streamed Beatles, right? I think Here Comes the Sun is the most streamed requested Beatles song. So I'm not putting down George in any way, but there was a few songs on. Same thing with Satanic Majesty's Request. There's a version of it that has like bonus songs. It's really cool. You can find that one. It has like 10 extra bonus songs, and it's really cool. It kind of stretches out, but there's a few kind of strange songs on that too. It was experimental. I think that was the whole point. Let's get psychedelic, and they opened up, the idea of a concept album. I think the Beach Boys kind of started it with Pet Sounds, and then they took it to another level. What's Up with Living in a Ghost Town made the mood for what was happening with the virus. I think with Living in a Ghost Town is that he started writing it before the pandemic, and then they noticed that these words were very relevant. So they kind of rewrote it a little bit, to kind of fit in some of the things that were going on in the news. But that's what I'm saying. The Stones are still relevant. People are saying, oh, they haven't written a good song in 20 years. I'm like, well, what happened to Living in a Ghost Town? That was a good one. And the songs that the Stones throw away are actually better than most stuff that people are releasing. I mean, look at that song Scarlet. It's 50 years old that they recorded with Jimmy Page. Who would throw a song like that in a can for 50 years? I mean, that would be like holy grail. We've got to release this as soon as possible. But I mean, the Stones have so many great songs. They're just like, oh, we'll take our time. But even their bonus material that they've discarded is better than a lot of people's albums that they sit and pour over. So I think the Stones are still got it in them to write good music. I don't agree with that. And there's been albums that have been coming out in the new millennium, like Bigger Bang, that have some really good songs on it. Yeah, they're still putting out good music. I don't know if every single song is perfect, but there's some gems in there. You just gotta listen to them. You would love to hear another album like Exile on Main Street. That's Jordan Gower. Cami's playlist. It was a surprise. I guess the visuals did something for the song live too. And yeah, the visuals, but you think about it, it was kind of a stripped down concert. It was just mostly these big screens and the Rolling Stones. They didn't have a lot of other things happening. And like in some of the concerts, they would have these big sets, and inflatable animals jumping at them and different. This one was probably a little bit more mainstream. But you're right. They did have some interesting. I like the way they used the visuals, like with Sympathy for the Devil, for instance. All that fire coming out. It almost looked like it was really happening. It was a very good system. Lisa Richards said, any relation to Keith? I've seen the Stones. The Stearns. Is it the Stearns? It's 36 stars. I'm thinking you're saying the Stones. Wow. You got me beat. That's amazing. My son went, he said, gosh, if the Stones were playing every night, we would just go see them every night. It's just a natural high. Lisa Richards, I work in the music business and there's absolutely no point in putting out an album. The money you get paid for is so little. I don't care what band you're in. Well, I guess it would be for artistic reasons. I think The Who found that out. Even though their album, I think, made it to #2. They were knocked out by Rod Stewart, by the way. Can you believe that? Anyway, he had a live album that knocked them out of the #1 position. But they don't want to do another album, or at least Pete Townsend doesn't. He said there's not, like what you're saying, not enough money in it. But it should be more than about the money, I think. But touring is probably where it's at. They start these like virtual companies where there's so much money being made. They have these merch units and all these vans and roadies and sound and visual, and I mean it's just like a whole industry that it supports. Cami's playlist. The Stones were my 100th concert, and it was the one I wanted. Yeah, I wanted to ask you about that, Cami. Why was it that you hadn't seen the Stones earlier? Because they were touring in 2019. Why was that your most anticipated band to see out of those 100 that you have seen already? You're an intense music fan. Beast the Bird and American Tour 1981 is good. Yeah, it is. It is. It's just I'm just don't see it as better than the studio. You know, there's certain songs, like even from other bands, like if you listen to The Last Waltz, like the band does, The Night They Drove Old Dixie Down, better live than any of the studio albums. So, you know, there's some bands that actually, and I think Steely Dan, they're so perfect in the studio that they can never come close to it live, but it's fun to see them live anyway. But they never really, you never go, oh, that Steely Dan live version is better than the studio. But I can say that with a lot of Stones songs, that it really, they really open it up. We got a couple more comments here that I got to get to. I can't believe it. We've got 77 people here today. Thank you guys for coming out at such short notice. And I want to do this again so we can get Cami actually on the show. I think what happened is that I had to switch cameras, and I'm on my iPhone right now, and I'm trying to bring her in, but for some reason the link isn't working. Um, and he said, "Yeah, I think it's you're going to be able to join the live, so I'll just keep comment. You're not. I don't think. Oh, I'm sorry. I wanted you to come on. Is your Cami has such great facial expressions and the way she presents her. And I'm going to put up a link. I had one on my other one already set, but you know, I had to go to a whole new link to get this thing going. So I'm going to put it up when it replays. You'll be able to go in there and find her link. But you're okay with doing this, and then would you at least have me on your show, or come back to one of ours again? And I really wanted to get you on the link here up on the screen because you're so animated. And what I was meaning to ask you, what country are you from? Because I noticed a slight accent, Cami. And I think I have some old messages. So my thing is not scrolling down. It says, I reckon Jagger's singing is better than 10 to 20 years ago. It might be, you know, I mean, his voice is improving. Beast the Bird and American Tour 1981 is good. Remember the Blow Up Dolls during the Honky Tonk Woman in the 90s? Yeah, that's right. That's Lisa Richards. All the songs, the drummer is banging in the same rhythm, nothing like Charlie. We all see how great he was. Yeah, it is hard to do a Charlie Watts impression. He's doing, but you notice like Steve Jordan is doing these hi hats and things like that. He's getting a little better. I mean, you have to forgive the guy. I mean, we only lost Charlie like in less than 2 months ago. So imagine all the pressure on him to have to fill those big shoes, you know, of Charlie Watts. So I think he's doing okay, you know, but yeah, he's definitely, you know, he's more of a rock drummer. Like when they play Paint It Black, you can really hear it. He's just boom, 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 boom. You know, like I thought, you know, Charlie was a little bit more subtle, and he was more into the jazz kind of syncopation and things like that. But they're both excellent drummers. You know, it's just it's hard. You know, you've been used to the same drummer for 59 years, and then all of a sudden, you know, something like this happens. So it's an adjustment for everyone. I saw them on their Voodoo Lounge tour. Justin Gower felt they sped the pace of a lot of their songs versus how they sounded on the albums. Yeah, I noticed they speeded up their songs. Like, do you remember, like in the '81 tour, they were like when they did Shattered, it was a lot faster than it was on the studio album. And I think they were trying to make it faster because like punk rock had been coming around with that faster pulsating beat. So they were trying to make it a little bit more lively. I saw that. Let's see, we've got. It's not my real name, Lisa Richards. I can't use my real name here for a variety of reasons. Well, that's okay. I'm in the witness protection program too, so I that's what I tell everybody. By the way, it's a very good thing when you walking down the street and they want you to sign all your personal information to these people that you don't know. Just tell them you're in the witness protection program. They don't know what to say to that. You know, sorry, sir, you must give up your protection because you need to sign my survey. All right, Lisa Richards. I saw the Stones in Berlin in 2014. That's Liam. Aerosmith played a couple nights earlier. Pretty goofy but entertaining. Stephen and Joe Perry shoved their way, let's see, into the crowd at the Stones gig. That's cool. ML best of all, best concert was Desert Trip. That was it. That blew me away. I don't know if any of you have seen it, but I mean, it was just wrapping your mind around some of the most influential and best musicians in the last 50 years, like all in one concert, over a 3-day weekend. It was just, I'm so glad I went. And I recommend all you guys go. I know it's a hassle, but if you can't go, I'll come and I'll hold the camera. Um, but yeah, last night, guys, I almost didn't get through that stream. They're very particular. The Eagles, I didn't realize that they're very particular about it. So I said, no, I can't let my friends down. I got to keep filming. So that's why at some points, you'll see a little bit of shakiness in the camera, because there's people who are telling me, hey, you got to put that camera away. But the whole thing with filming, a lot of people are asking, I go, well, I don't understand. In the olden days, they wouldn't allow recording. Why do they allow recording things now? Because bands like the Stones are smart. Because everybody like myself who records them and puts them on YouTube, guess what? They get half of the revenue of the ads. They don't have to do anything. Why would they want to take it down? I don't get it. So I guess in the olden days, these people would make out bootleg albums and then they would keep all the percentage of it. But basically, nowadays, I'm on there. I'm giving them half of the revenue, at least. So I don't want you to feel bad about watching these videos. The Stones are getting ad revenue from it, and any of these bands that I put up there. So enjoy it with a clean conscience. Desert Trip looked really good. How was Dylan? Bob Dylan was good, actually. He just didn't let himself be filmed. He for some reason he didn't like the way he looked on camera, so he was showing like black and white footage, like stock footage of like old 1950 cars and things like that. But to tell you the truth, I unfortunately missed some of his set, but from what I heard, it sounded really good. He was doing that song, Ballad of a Thin Man. I remember that. It was a really good version of it. Cami's playlist, 2019. I was living in New York City, and I'm not mistaken, they didn't play there or couldn't get. Oh, that's why. Okay. Well, I'm glad you got to go. And I think you were wise to go both nights, because to me, like, the opening night was like a practice run, just getting through the maze of SoFi Stadium. They required you to bring your passport. If you didn't bring in your quarantine card or whatever it was that you were vaccinated, they wouldn't let you in. Imagine paying all that money for a seat and you didn't know, and you just came and they sent you away. I mean, that's crazy. And nobody wore their masks anyway. I don't know why they made such a big deal that you wear it in the lobby and then you take it off when you get into the crowds. It just seemed like an exercise in futility, but whatever. Did Steven Tyler look excited to see the Stones? A lot of people think that Aerosmith was heavily influenced by the Stones. I definitely think so. Yes, but I don't get to see Mick dancing around on the Studio Beast. There you go. Okay, so that's a good trade-off. Lisa Richards with Keith and Milk. The money is from publishing also, but the earlier stuff they only make money off of after 71, pretty much. Dylan was okay at Candlestick. The problem with the stage at Desert Trip, I don't want to belabor it, was that it wasn't high enough. And so if you were like in general admission in the back, you would basically need binoculars to see the jumbotrons. We luckily got seats in the front section, but we still had a hard time seeing him. He was like sitting down, and like I said, he wouldn't let them use the camera to film him. He was the only artist that just didn't like it. 81 this is HR at Candlestick, watching Keith sit on the edge of the stage playing Some Girls while the crowd held hands and danced in circles was amazing. Um, and Cami's playlist. Thank you so much. I don't know what I said, but whatever it is, I meant it from the heart. What do you think about the Texas gig on the videotape in '78? I like that. I think all their concerts are amazing. Just really, I mean, you're not going to get an unbiased opinion from me, but I'm like the real fan. I'm not like these critical people. There's so many people like there's one guy that just criticizes everything. He'll find like a mistake that Ron Wood made on a guitar solo during "Start Me Up" on 2 minutes and 48 seconds into the song. I said, "You remind me of one of my ex bosses." I mean, come on, man. Is there anything positive here? I mean, they'll follow these streams and they go to every single comment. I mean, if they don't like it, why do they watch it? I don't get it. They have to warn everybody, stay away. What do you think? Okay, so Stones had a huge show in Brazil. So, yeah, they did 2 shows in Brazil. They did one, I think, in '98. I think I have the. Let me see if I can show you the box of it. It's pretty cool. Where did I do with it? Oh yeah, I have it over here. I keep my Stones records close to me. This is it. This one here. Did you ever see this? This is the Rolling Stones live in Rio de Janeiro. It's 1998. Now, this is not the one that's been released. Okay, this is. They have special guest Bob Dylan on "Like a Rolling Stone." That's pretty cool. It's from April 11th, 1998. Now, the one they did, I think, in 2006 in Rio was the largest attended rock concert in history, practically. I think they had like 500,000 people in the Copacabana beach. And then Keith always jokes around and goes, "Well, they did get in for free. But, but that was one of the largest attended shows. I'm sorry, guys. This phone is a little tilted. I wanted to get it cleaned up a little bit here. All right. I'm just going to have to get get this thing positioned right. Okay. There we go. It says, "Do you look like?" Oh, DJ, you look like Mick Taylor. Okay. All right. I never thought of it, but I'll take that. Um, I'm from. Oh, you're from Brazil. That is so cool. What city in Brazil? I've been to Sao Paulo, and I've been to Rio. Um, I have a lot of family in Brazil, in Sao Paulo and Rio. What city are you from? Am I pronouncing your name right? I hope I am. I'm calling you Cami. Um, enjoy your videos. Oh, Tammy White. I'm glad you like them. I love rarities. I feel like you can watch the regular stuff anywhere, but you don't always get to see the rare stuff. So that's what I kind of focus on. Um, and even when I do a video, I'll talk about some unusual stuff that I don't know if everybody knows or not. Sometimes they know. You guys know a lot, so I have to I have to be kept on my toes. But thank you. That make my day. The songs sound almost like the album. Example: "Gimme Shelter." The intro is pretty good. This is Jordan's suggestion. The New Barbarians were fabulous. You're absolutely right. I have actually an album of the New Barbarians in my den. I have it framed. And you're going to tell me, like, well, the New Barbarians, they never put out a studio album. Did you know that? It was only live albums. What a great band. I wish they would I would like to see at a Stone show that they would let like Keith and Ronnie do like some New Barbarian stuff, and then I would like to hear some Keith solo stuff, like 1 or 2 songs, and then maybe a song or two from Mick Jagger's solo career. Wouldn't that be interesting? I would like that. I would be cool to hear how the whole band would tackle some of those songs, but just my humble opinion. Um, let's see. Lucas said the songs sound almost like the album. Lisa Richards, we talked about the New Barbarians. Best live performance, Sympathy from the Devil from 1989 Atlantic City. If You Can't Rock Me, You Live, 1977 Monkey Man, 94. Wow, you're pretty in depth there. Northern Surfer Boy, you got it down. Voice of Reason. I enjoy your vids, brother. Cheers. Let me see. Let's see. Cheers for posting them. Well, I'm so glad you guys like it. If you haven't guessed, I have a deep passion for music, and I love to share it with other people. And I'm so glad you guys enjoy it, because it's. And then I try to do something different sometimes. Like the other day, I took when I see a video, a lot of times I want to just. Like, a viral video or something, I want to just choreography it with music. I want to put music in the back. I hear a song, like I saw that the guy falling in the mud hole. I don't know if you saw that. I was slipping away. That would be perfect. And somebody writes a comment. They go, Mick Jagger has nothing to do with, or Keith Richards has nothing to do with the mud hole. How could you? Duh. It's an artistic expression, and I'm just sitting there laughing. Really, I'm entertaining myself. Hopefully I'm entertaining you. I'm laughing at some of this stuff. Like I did one with Mick. What was it? Someone's knocking at the door, and the police were breaking through this guy's front door to the beat of Paul McCartney. Let him in. I don't know. It's silly stuff, but I'm glad you're enjoying it. That's 1660. The voice of reason. You are the voice of reason, and That's pretty good. You're saying that Jordan rocks while Charlie swings. Oh, my kitty cat is trying to sit on my records over here. Come here, guy. Let's bring in our friend here. This is Tony Tiger. He loves coming into live streams. He's a little shy at first, but that's my little partner here, my little compadre. That's right. That's Tony Tiger. He's a really sweet cat. He loves a good chin rub, right? All right. Not gonna bug him. Satisfaction is always sped up way too fast. Yeah, it is interesting. It is sped up a little bit. What do you think of Devo's version of Satisfaction? I can't get to know. Satisfaction is always sped up. Oh, they also sped up Little TNA. My son was saying he doesn't think that they're going to be able to play Little TNA anymore because it's not politically correct. Possibly. A lot of the Stone songs are not politically correct. I think more and more of them are going to be retired. Well, maybe we'll get to see that Barbarian reunion then if they need more songs. Greatly appreciate your videos. All right, Barbara. Well, thank you. I appreciate you. I'm glad you're enjoying them. Lucas, in the 80s, almost rock bands played their songs faster. Kiss also. Why don't they play anything off Steel Wheels? Well, they did play that Keith Richards song "Slipping Away," I believe is from Steel Wheels, but I agree they should play more. There's a lot of them. Mixed Emotions and Almost Hear You Sigh is from Steel Wheels. I love that song. Great album. Charlie is jazz bass. This other drummer is rock bass, is a rocker. That's true. Did you ever listen to Keith Richards' song called Cocaine Blues? That's to be one of the most beautiful songs I ever heard. Wow, I'll have to give that another listening to. What Justin Gower, what album is that off? Lisa Richards says that Steve played with the Winos, of course, and he played with Keith in St. Louis in those shows with Chuck Berry. Best concert ever, Stones, November 29th, 1969, Boston Garden. Wow, you guys, that's the beginning of arena rock, right? Back in 69, they were like one of the first bands to do it. They had stadium rock before that, like the Beatles with Shea Stadium and all that, but arena rock was, I think, ushered in with the Stones. And that was probably 1969, Boston Garden. Douglas Bronzy 13. This band is no longer the Stones. I see the Beatles without Ringo. I'm bothered by the fact that Charlie is not with them anymore, but it seems like they've lost some members over the years, right? We lost Stu, who's a founding member. Um, they lost Brian, and we lost Bill, and all of a sudden now we lost Charlie. They want us to close down the band. I don't know, guys. It's like the Stones have not been the original band since Brian Jones was kicked out. So I don't know when you draw the line, but I'm the kind of person I would go if it was just like Mick Jagger solo. A lot of people won't do that. They have to see. It has to be the group. Like, for instance, like Kiss can fill arenas, but if like Paul Stanley goes and does a Soul Station concert, he can barely fill up a small club. I'm serious. I went to see Paul Stanley Soul Station. It was a place called the Rose. It was a small club. I mean, I was thinking, oh, this place is going to be packed. No, the sum of the parts does not equal the whole. So, what can you do? You just got to do the best you can. Not, unfortunately, I mean, what if every band were to have stopped if they lost one member? You wouldn't have had any of the Who after after like 78. You wouldn't have had, the Doobie Brothers. Everybody was breaking up in the early 80s. Now they're all coming back, I saw Skinner. I mean, I'm glad they were still playing. And, I mean, it's like, it's getting kind of ridiculous with some bands like Foreigner. They only had one original member, Mick Jones, I believe his name was, and he only played part of the show. These other guys were good too. They've been in the band like longer than the original members. I think that's where these bands are going to be. They're going to kind of move into remember like the Benny Goodman band without Betty Goodman? It's unfortunately going to end up like that. Best concert ever, Stones, November 29th, Boston Garden. We saw that from Barbara. Douglas and Fat Lou. Dylan should not care after selling his music. Okay. And we have Lisa Richards is saying the closing date in 02 in London, 08 was amazing. That's a nice stadium. That's where Zeppelin played when they had the reunion, the O2 Arena. Gordon said he saw the Stones in New Zealand, Western Springs, 1973. He shot a lot of 8mm film with the Filmo sound. This was the pre-video days. Wow. I'm impressed. Cami said, I'm glad too. Same, the first night was great, but the second one I actually enjoyed. Yeah, we really needed to kind of get through the kinks and so you could navigate through that place. And then we have Martin said Charlie was self-taught, a team player, but still a strong character, not interested in filling in. The Stones was these strong characters. Learning music as the old New Orleans jazz musicians. Saw the Stones in 1999, Kevin said. Couldn't believe I was witnessing the greatest rock and roll band on stage. What's up with the McCartney-Jagger feud? Love both bands. Yeah, I thought that was like... the feud, I thought that was just like the McCartney trying to get some free press or something. It was kind of ridiculous. McCartney said that the Stones were just a blues cover band. That's why Mick Jagger made that statement that Paul McCartney was going to come. People took him seriously. They're like, oh, wow, Paul is coming on stage. It just didn't seem like, it sounds like they're doing a publicity thing or whatever. Recently they had the feud between David Lee Roth and Gene Simmons. I think some of it is just free advertisement, personally. I don't know. Either that or these rock stars are getting crabby in their older years. They're just saying whatever's on their mind. Gare said, was Lou Reed big in the U.S. and Europa? He was like, God, he was famous, but I would say he was more of a underground kind of an act. I don't think it was mainstream. I mean, he had a few hits in there, like Walk on the Wild Side, but I don't think he was as well. There's certain artists like Rory Gallagher, who's very big. Cliff Richards, very big in England, not as much in the United States. I think possibly Lou Reed was like that. Martin is asking, Steve is a professional drummer, polished and do things perfect. With Charlie, you never knew. Maybe he would disturb their groove. He never did it really bad. He had an antenna. Lucas said they did shows in Brazil and LA in 1995, 98, 2006, and 2016. Wow. Cami said, sick. I'm from 1996. That makes sense. I never got to see them in Brazil. Okay, you would be 2 years old when they played, and the first time. In 2016, it was impossible to get tickets. 2006, I think. Did they come back in 2016 also? Probably. Yeah, there. Brazil has an amazing love for rock music. Remember the Rock in Rio? I mean, they had some of the largest audiences like at some of these concerts. It's crazy. If you get a chance to hear any of the Rock in Rio recordings on YouTube, go for it. They're amazing. Neil Young's band was great at Desert Trip. Yeah, he was. I'll never forget his setup. They had like teepees. He's very much into the Native American theme, and they had these teepees and had this little this younger woman dressed in Native American dress, and she was doing something like preparing something near the teepees, and I never saw a band set up like that before. It was really cool. His music was good. He did a 29-minute version of Down by the River. That guitar solo was incredible. Neil Young's band was great. Okay, Gordon said that I wonder how many recent Stones. Ooh, I think I'm going too slow. There's so many. Wow. Let me see what he was saying. Saw Stones in New Zealand, Western Springs, 1973. I shot a lot of 8mm film with Filmo sound. Okay, I think I need to go scroll down a little bit more. Charlie was self-taught. We got that one. We're talking about Lou Reed. I think this thing. Okay. Let's see. I wonder how many recent Stones songs with Charlie on it are there in the vault ready to be released. Well, they probably, recent ones. I'm not sure. I heard they were working on an album with Don Was. Is that his name, the producer? I wonder how many recent Stones songs. Yeah, good question. We'll see if we can figure that out. Willie Nelson's son was his backing band. That's right. The Nelsons, Willie Nelson's son. They were in the Promise of the Real, Neil Young's group. Keith plays slow. He tries very hard to keep on arthritis, maybe. I mean, if you've seen Keith Richards' fingers, it's amazing. He can still play. He has so much calcification and probably carpal tunnel. He's worked those fingers for so many decades. I respect and love them for everything. Time waits for no one. Last they were perfect was 2013 in Glastonbury. Age is a burden. It really is. They're superheroes to me, though, because they're showing the potential that you can be in your late 70s and still be vital. To me, that's very, very inspiring, because when I was younger, if you were like over 50, you were just wearing spectacles and plaid, and you were just moving around slowly. But I think that generation really showed you the potential of what you could do with your life if you didn't throw in the towel by the time you turned 50 years old. Keith plays slow. All right. Cami is saying, let's see. I'm pronouncing it right. I'm from Sao Paulo. Okay, cool. I was worried because I've not spoken to Cami on the phone. It was just through text through Instagram. So I want to make sure you're from Sao Paulo. That's really cool. Like, what area of Sao Paulo? Because there's so many different areas there. Can't Always Get was exceptional. Yeah, it was. I mean, even when they did that at-home concert last year, Can't Always Get What You Want, it was like a highlight of it. They They did it really well. Shark Air. Most of the songs they played are boring. They should let me pick the song list. Okay. I think they do have a lot of songs on there. It's just I think that they have to do these certain songs. We have to do Satisfaction. We have to do Jumping Jack Flash. And then after a while they're, you know, but in the same sense, they're the Stones, you have to remember they're doing their set for mostly for fans. You know, they're not, there's some groups that'll just come out and, you know, do the songs they want to do. They do it based on fan preference. So you're going to get a lot of greatest hits, you know, and maybe a few, you know, surprises thrown in, but it's mostly going to be fan based. It's still exciting to see him. It's always historic. Keith sang Happy at St. Louis, one of my favorites by him. They have From Exile on Main Street. Lisa Fisher was a better singer. I saw 2 Barbarian shows. Oh, wow. Lisa Richards. I'm impressed. Did you see the one in New York? Okay. Jack Dempsey. Love to see Mick do You're the Boss. Yeah, I love that album, You're the Boss. I know it didn't always get the greatest critical review. And there was a movie that came out called Running Out of Luck. I don't know if you saw it. It's like they use all the songs from the album. And it tells the story of all things. I think Cami would like it. It's Mick Jagger is trapped in Brazil in that movie, Running Out of Luck. It's not allowed to be shown on YouTube for some reason. They've banned it from there. I know everybody who shows it, they take it down, I guess. But there might be some clips of it. See if you can see it. Jack Dempsey, love to see Mick do You're the Boss. Pretty cute cat. That must have been, yeah, he's over here chilling out. That's our little Tony Tiger. Classic rock, cool cat. Hey, DJ Gerry, great concert last night. Subscribe, Joe. Okay, thank you. I haven't looked at my subscription list. Joe, I appreciate you subscribing. Thank you so much. And I'm glad you enjoyed the concert. That was one of the most challenging concerts to film. They just did not want us to have the camera up, and the reason why they wouldn't authorize me to leave the stream going, unfortunately. So I'm going to try to release as many songs as I can from it. I just can't release it as a long recording. They have so many rules, you know, with this stuff. But anyway, Gordon Hart's band on stage. It's not a feud. Typical media beat up, taken out of context, just like media saying Beatles and Stones were feuding 50 years ago. Yeah, I think you're right. Some of it's just hype. Jeff Rice, want them to play Angie, Monkey Man, Going to a Go-Go, Waiting on a Friend, Hang for. Yeah, what happened to all those great songs? You're right. They got to spread it around a little bit. Stones dropping Brown Sugar from the live performance. Mick Jagger admitted that song was racist like 25 years ago. So I don't know. To me, I think he wrote it from a perspective. Some of these songs are written from character perspectives. I don't think they're necessarily written from their perspective, you know. So any more than you would say somebody who plays a racist in the movie is really racist in real life. You know, some of it are just characters. But I don't know. I mean, I think there are other songs, misogynist songs that are still they're still there, but I don't know if they're playing them as much. Somebody mentioned the song "Bitch." I don't think they'll be playing that one too much with the Me Too movement. What's your opinion on? Okay, so I'm sad to hear it go. I used to like when they did Brown Sugar because I remember seeing them at the Dodger Stadium. Yeah, it was Dodger Stadium back in 2006, and everybody would be like, "Woo, woo!" You know, that whole part. It was just like the whole stadium was standing up doing the wave. You know, it was just a fun, lively song. And a lot of people didn't really think about the racial problems with the words. You know, I don't think that they really people were focusing on that much. I think it was just, it is what it is. Some of these songs and movies in our political climate would not have been made. Let's face it. And we're looking at it with historical revisionism. I think Steel Wheels was the most polished Stones record. Yeah, that was really. It took a while to get into it, but once I did, I was like, "Oh my god, this is a great album." It was kind of like U2 did that album in '91, Achtung Baby. That was a kind of a departure. Well, the Rolling Stones album Steel Wheels was a departure in that sense. The Stones have not been politically correct since 1964. Lisa Richards, you're absolutely right. They have not been. Why are we expecting them to be politically correct now? I don't know. Only Stone. I think it's more important the way people actually act. Only Stone show I didn't enjoy was Altamont Disaster. Wow, you were at Altamont. Knives and beer bottles. I think 4 people died or something during that concert. Mike Al's Kiss without makeup wouldn't sell. I did see Kiss without makeup in the 1980s at the Forum. They didn't sell as well, but they were, I guess, trying to prove a point that they could still rock without the makeup. Their albums sold, I think, over 100 million albums, one of the biggest selling albums. So people are listening to their music. It's not only the thing, but I think when they write this music, you think of them as if they're performing it in the studio with their makeup or something. I think they write some of this music in those characters, the demon and the star child and all that. So, they get into those characters. It's very theatrical, and Kiss has, done a lot to build their brand, and they're very iconic. I could see that band continuing on, having these sound-alikes or whatever, but it wouldn't be the same. The Eagles were lifeless last. Well, when you compare it to the Stones, right? You didn't have a Mick Jagger character. I think that we're really glad that Joe Walsh was with them, because he kind of pumps some life in him. He's funny, and he was, playing the kind of more of the rockin' songs, and he's got a great sense of humor. So he kind of pumps some life into it. Joe Walsh. But the rest of them they're very serious guys. I mean, Henley, great singer, but the guy is serious, as they come. He was trying to make a joke about lawyers last night that wasn't bad, though. He said he's getting better lawyers nowadays. Led Zeppelin stopped. Led Zeppelin should have continued. I agree. They still had it in them. One of the greatest bands. It would have been nice if they could have had Jason Bonham. His band is better than Robert Plant's band, really. It would be cool to see Robert Plant playing with him, and maybe a couple other original members. The history of the Eagles tour was great at the Forum. Glenn was alive, and it sounded great. That's right. Ian Stewart was a founding member. He was not allowed to be in the band because they said he was too ugly. Can you believe that? So he just played piano with them, and he played on all their albums, I think, through the mid-'80s. A real sweet guy, Lisa Richards says. Back in the day, no one opened for Zepp. Well, they would play these long concerts. They played like 3-hour shows or something, didn't they? Martin said, I'm happy they keep on. It was a phenomenon, and these self-taught guys found and made a unique sound and got the most experienced live band. I've seen Fleetwood Mac open for Alice Cooper. Wow, that's an interesting group. I took my sister in '98 to see them in Athens. She was not their fan so much like me. After this, she was a fan too. The show, she got totally in the mood, is the power of the Stones. Vanilla Fudge opened up for Zeppelin. First U.S. date was Albuquerque. Wow, you've got a good knowledge of the historical concerts. Lisa Richards, I'm impressed. Lee Michael says, thank you so much for your live streams of the Stones concerts. Oh, yeah, my pleasure. It was it was really fun. I can't imagine why more people aren't doing it. There were a few people that were streaming on Facebook, but they weren't streaming the whole show, and they were just streaming little bits of it and things. But I can't imagine why more people aren't doing it. I mean, it's one woman, I was mentioning it on the stream last night. She's from France, and she told me she was dancing, the whole time, and I'm like, wow, it's just I could make that happen, by holding a phone and sharing the music, keeping the music alive. Hey, that's cool. I mean, they should, if they were smart, they would do a professional live stream, and let people. The Stones have a lot of fans. It's more than just the people coming to their concerts that want to see them. There's people all over the world want to see these shows. So I really think they should. Allow people to watch them and so forth and stream them. So if they're not doing it, I got to do it. But I'm so glad you were able to watch it and you enjoyed it. Paul was right. It was just funny that Mick said we're going to do a blues cover with Paul McCartney. Vanilla Fudge was great. Keep me hanging on. I don't know if you ever saw them on the Ed Sullivan Show. There's a clip on YouTube. You got to check it out. Vanilla Fudge. Carmine Apiece on drums. Who would go to see the Stones today? Only hundreds of thousands of people, I guess. I've had so many evil stories about Gene Simmons. I can't stand looking at the. Oh, I'm sorry. This. Let me see if I can find it. Cami said, she wanted to see Rock in Rio. Great crowd. I've heard so many evil stories about Gene Simmons. I can't stand looking at the guy. You know that I was actually saw him at a sushi restaurant in Century City. He was sitting there with his wife next to me. That's the most bizarre thing. I'm just looking over and like, wait, Gene Simmons. But he's very private. He doesn't like to talk to people, so I kind of gave him a space. I had met up with him at a signing where I was bugging him to sign all my rare albums. So I thought I troubled the guy enough, at the book signing. So I kind of I did get a photo of him just in background. But yeah, he's interesting person, to say the least. The feud is just the media. Mick was joking. People are stupid. I saw Lou Reed. Rio 2006 was closer to 1 million. They were trying to break Rod Stewart's record. They had 490,000 for SARS Rock in Toronto 2003. It says here, Irish Gorilla seen Jay Grills. Run Deep Purple out of the building. You guys have seen a lot of concerts. Jay Giles. I'm sorry. I saw Jay Giles open for the Rolling Stones in '81. Peter Wolf was jumping around on the stage. I was in the back. I said, wait, is that Mick Jagger? He was doing this like leapfrog Mick Jagger dance. Jagger's net worth is $500 million. Wow. So he's definitely not going to be able to spend that money in one lifetime. Central Sao Paulo. Oh, that's where you live, Central Sao Paulo. That's cool. Is that anywhere near Morumbi? I don't know. Thanks for posting that LA show. I tried to record a 94 show. It was a disaster. It is hard, because people start standing up when you're trying to film, walking behind you and in front of you. And, all of a sudden there's a guy fist pounding. I had to keep moving, It would just all of a sudden just start standing up and pounding his fists. It was hard to get around him. Okay, I love the Stones with Mick Taylor again on the 50th anniversary tour. And that's Lisa Richards. Oh yeah, that was cool. There's a 50th anniversary tour. I think Springsteen joined them for a song or two also. I thought the Eagles lacked energy last night. Yeah, they've never been a very active band, but I thought the music sounded good. Um, Hot Stuff, Hand of Faith, Whip Comes Down, Hang Fire would be all super dope lives. Julie, hi Julie, hi Jerry Love. Wow, that's a nice uh, opening line there. I like that. You got my attention. Thanks for all the wonderful gems you share with us. We appreciate your efforts so much. Thank you. I was a teacher for many years, so you guys are my. I'm running a classroom of the stuff I'm truly interested in. All this great music, so I'm glad you guys are enjoying it. Um, Irish Gorilla, liked Joe Walsh better in the James Gang. Okay, yeah, he was good in the James Gang, and he's great in the Eagles. I think they desperately need him. He's definitely a little bit of a breath of comedy. And all right, well, Martin says, "What about putting a cam in a hat?" I know a guy doing. Somebody told me that you don't get as good videos on some of those spy cams. I was thinking about that. They have sunglasses too that you can film out of your sunglasses, but I don't think the quality is as good. But I think if I go back to trying to film the Eagles, I'll have to do something like that. What Stones at Rich Stadium, July 4th, 1978. Okay, you guys have seen a lot. Monkey Man, I haven't heard that live since Voodoo Lounge. Yeah, you're right about that, Julie. I haven't heard that song. First timer here. Hi, Brian. How you doing? I went to the 14th LA show and I was totally blown away, but a little bummed out of the Sunday crowd got Beast. Yeah, well, my son and I were talking about it. I hadn't heard Beast of Burden. And all of a sudden they played it. It was like, woo, yeah. No Jones, no Stones. The Rolling Stones killed and murdered Brian Jones, Justice Jones, Brian Jones fan club. Yeah, well, I did a whole video on it. It's very fascinating finding out about the death of Brian Jones. There's a lot of things that were covered up by the police. I don't know if I think the Stones was the beginning of the end, but I think his that guy that was living with him trying to remodel his house might have had something to do with it, or his conspirating with his chauffeur or something like that, because everything is racist today. You're absolutely right. That's the albatross. You used to be call somebody a communist. Now you just call them a racist, and you blacklist them. Mick Jagger and Keith Richards murdered Brian Jones. Well, he was the founder of the group, and they threw him out. That kind of really messed him up. And Brian Jones, he was taking so much drugs and everything that they couldn't really take him to different countries. He was getting in trouble. So, it was a problem for them too. I mean, Keith Richards said when he took drugs that he realized that it was affecting other people around him. It wasn't just about him. And that's why he stopped. And plus he loved the music. But you have to think about it. It's not just, I think the same thing with Robbie Krieger, who's writing about Jim Morrison. He said that, he was very upset with Jim Morrison because, Jim screwed something beautiful up, by taking all those drugs. So it didn't just affect Jim. It affected everybody around him. Sorry, spelled your name incorrectly before. I didn't even notice. I appreciate you. Thank you, Julie. John Politis, death by misadventure is a lie. Exactly. What death is not a misadventure, right, John? That's what they called the death of Brian Jones, death by misadventure. Lisa says, I remember Jesse Jackson complaining about the Stones in the early 80s. Oh, that's right. He thought that Some Girls was a racist album. Well, listen to the song Some Girls. You may have a point there. But again, I don't think it's supposed to be taken literal. There is a little, they write some of their songs with characters that aren't necessarily them. So, but we have to be sensitive to people's needs and to their cultures, and it's a fine line when you're trying to be controversial. I was there Wow, Oshawa, April 22nd, 1979. You guys are amazing, because when I first started streaming, I don't want to talk about rock and roll, and they weren't really organic people. They were people that were just coming to shout out their channels. They didn't know anything about rock and roll, but we have a very intelligent audience here today who's writing a lot of insightful things, have a lot of experience with the Stones. I was at the Dodgers show. Wait, was that the one in 2006, Lisa? Wow, the Dodgers show. That was really great. My friend invited me to that one. It was a skybox. And I remember there was this older man sitting there, and he was like, "The Stones are has-beens," and he couldn't barely get off the couch, and he's making fun of the Stones. Okay, thank you. I remember. Okay, we have here the videos of Rolling Stones were awesome. Oh, Mary's from Marseille. Hi, hi. I hope I'm pronouncing your name wrong. I'm just going to call you Mary. Mary Fanta. I'm glad you like those videos, because they were really amazing for me, and I started seeing things in these videos. Like I did the video of Mick Jagger running down the stage, and I was kind of comparing it to the way Tom Cruise was running in Mission Impossible down that bridge, and a little bit of Chariots of Fire. So I would just like find things in these videos that I didn't notice so much, or like Mick Jagger sticking the mic down his pants. There was always this, he didn't know what to do with the mic. Put it on the mic stand. I don't know. Just seeing stuff like that that you don't notice when you start going through these videos. You start seeing things that you didn't even see in the concert. What do you think of McCartney calling them a blues cover band? I think they did start out as a blues cover band, but the Beatles started out as a rock and roll cover band. So I don't understand why he's calling the kettle black. If you listen to the Hamburg tapes of the Beatles, they were doing a lot of cover tunes when they first started. But just like them, they started writing their own thing. I mean, why is he talking about something 60 years ago? I don't know. They've evolved since then, Paul. In each city, they give 4 choices of ballads. Their song St. Louis chose Wild Horse. Yeah, Wild Horses. Again, St. Louis, guys, this is the concert. I love these rare recordings. The Rolling Stones live. I don't know if you can see that. Live in St. Louis. I'm going to be giving away some of these. We'll probably do a prize drawing or something like that. But this is the whole St. Louis show. Pretty cool stuff. Etsy, if you want to, if you don't win, you want to buy them. I think they got them on Etsy somewhere. In each city, they give 4 choices of ballads in their songs, and St. Louis chose Wild Horses. Tattoo You had the best production from their album's Great Sound. Yeah, Tattoo You was interesting. It was just a collection of songs that were just, they pieced together that they hadn't put on other albums, and it just became a cohesive unit, even though it was really, because the first side was the more accessible stuff like Start Me Up, and then the second side had these songs that Mick was singing in falsetto voice. So it was almost like 2 different kinds of albums, one more experimental, one more, the first side was more mainstream. I haven't heard all the new tracks, but they sound, or the unreleased tracks, they sounded interesting. They did Wild Horses in LA also on Sunday night. Tattoo You had the best production. The Rolling Stones were the best from 62 to 68. Okay, well, that's a little before my time. I do remember the songs, but again, it's before my time. I kind of became a fan in with 78 with Miss You and Emotional Rescue, and the 80s stuff, that. So I guess whatever era you kind of grew up as a teenager or college in, you kind of remember that fondly. Cami said, "Hey, I have class now and I have to go. Sorry the stream didn't work the way we wanted. You're doing a great job anyways. Thank you all. Great talking about the Stones with you. Have a good day." Thanks, Cami. I was going to have her on. We're going to try to get her to come on another time. I'm so sorry it didn't work out today, but she did stay on as long as she could. And I will post her link to her She has some footage of the Rolling Stones concert on her channel, and she talks about music in a really creative, original way. So hopefully we can get a chance to do another collaboration. Thank you so much for coming out. Have a great day too, and we'll stay in touch. John said the Stones were the best with Brian Jones. After he died, the Stones were never the same band. They got worse over the years and decades after Jones left. Well, I don't know if they got worse, but they definitely evolved. The Stones have absolutely nothing to do with Hot Rocks LP. Oh, okay, that's interesting. That was Abco Productions. What do you think of McCartney calling them a blues cover band? I think he needs to move beyond the early 1960s. Hit. Hi, Jerry. Appreciate your channel for all Stones fans out there. Just saw a documentary on Odyssey. Seasucker Blues from the private concert shots 69, not for children. Try. I actually have that video, believe it or not. I bought it on Melrose in LA. It's you can probably get it online too. I've seen it in eBay and things like that. It shows, I think that's from their 72 Exile on Main Street tour. When the Stones were rehearsing in Toronto in 97, they rehearsed all of Exile and didn't play much of it on that tour. Have you heard of Starcrawler with Arrow Delwide? Not familiar with that. Phil Collins is very sick. Seeing him in a wheelchair with a blanket last. Oh my gosh, it was heartbreaking. Seeing him that he wasn't able to hold the drumsticks. What a great drummer! He was so active, in the '80s, playing all these different bands. But I really admire him for going out there and singing with. I wish he had come to LA. He's with Genesis. This at a limited amount. Stones Forever. Favorite Stones album, Out of Our Heads, Aftermath, Between the Buttons, Their Satanic Majesty's Request, Flowers, Hot Rocks, 64 to 671, More Hot Rocks, Big Hits, and Face Cookies. I remember those were some of my first Stones albums, those Hot Rocks albums. They have a lot of good songs on them. Stones have so many greatest hits albums, it's crazy. And they have a lot of live albums too. They almost have a live album for just about every tour. And they're in the Vault series. They're wonderful. They have DVDs and CDs. Once the Stones and other stadium acts are gone, who will carry the mantle? I'm not really sure. All I know is I'm seeing as many concerts as I can, while they're still able to do it. Ola from Philadelphia. Hey Scott, how you doing? Seen Timberlake, Rich play with the Stones from Toronto. Yeah, I think I saw a little bit of that. Felt sorry for him because they were throwing things at him. Oh my God. Rock fans, they can be really nice and they can be pretty harsh. I'm just finding that out. 81 in use. Aerosmith was one of their openers. Abco Production owned the rights from the first LP to Get Your Yayas Out. Hello from China. I've seen the Stones 3 times, and Jagger, when he did his solo tour, first album, Tattoo You, favorite song, Worried About You. Yeah, that's really cool. That the video I put of them is almost at 1 million views, where he was playing the piano and they were doing a sound check. I'm pretty sure that's the song. Hello from China. I've seen the Stones 3 times. Mick Jagger, this is Rob Rocks TV. When he did his solo tour, first album, Tattoo You, favorite song, Worried About You. Yeah, that is cool. The Stones used to do a live concert on TV in the 80s with HBO. I think some of those might be available on the In the Vault. I remember the one you were talking about, though. One of my friends got me an audio tape of it. It was really cool. Fans were throwing jugs. At Timberlake, wow. AC/DC stole that show. HBO, yeah, there was another HBO in 2002. You're right, but I think they were referring to the one in the 80s. I had tickets June 6th at Rich Stadium, Buffalo. Thank you, COVID. Yeah, COVID has really changed a lot, but I'm just glad these concerts are back on. I had tickets for June 6th. Favorite Stones albums: Big Hits, High Tide, Green Grass, Through the Past Darkly, Big Hits, Volume 21, Flowers, Hot Rocks, More Hot Rocks, Aftermath, Between the Buttons, Satanic Majesty's Request. Okay. Okay. Here it says Carmen used to park his Pantera in my garage when he went on tour. I have dealings with Simmons. I'm staying not too far from Century City. Yeah, he would always hang out in Century City. I heard other people had met him there. Somebody was saying that Gene Simmons walking around, he's not a big fan of talking to his fans. He's very separate when he goes out in the public. He got mad at me because I had him sign so many different things that he wouldn't sign all the. He was only going to sign his book. It was a book sign. I don't know. So we had to return like a lot of the CDs and things because he didn't want to sign. I don't know. I don't know how he does that signature. It's just so large. It would take 20 minutes. He just sign his name. He's probably tired of writing so much. I like the Eagles concert you filmed last night. Thank you. I'm glad you liked it and got a chance to see it. I was hoping that they would leave it up, but they don't want the complete show up. I can put in. I was trying to release, as many songs as I can separately. It was exceptional, really. I hope you were able to enjoy some of it. We had 8,500 viewers that had seen it before it was taken down, unfortunately. But they are allowing me to put up individual songs, so I'm going to try to do it as much as I can to get some of the individual songs from there. Bowie and Mick at Live Aid, yeah, they were cool. Saw the Stones on the Steel Wheels tour. Great show. I'm impressed how they are sounding. Go around. It's pretty amazing, really. Great. It's from Hamburg, Germany, to all Rolling Stones fans all over. Oh, greetings. Hit. Hi, Hamburg. We have an international group here. I had somebody from Croatia the other night. Lisa Richards, the Stones tour in 81 had different artists opening for the Stones in different cities. That's right. When I saw them in 81, they had Prince, Jay Giles Band, George Thorogood and the Delaware Destroyers. That's a variety of opening acts. The Stones tour in 81 had different artists. Dr. Rafael from Curitiba, Brazil. Tudo bem, amigo. Thanks for your service to us Stones fans. Oh, my pleasure, guys. You guys are awesome, and it's just a labor of love. Rafael from Curitiba, Brazil. Thank you for your service. Jiving Sister Fanny. I don't know what that means. Rolling Stones, 1981. Buffalo, New York was the wildest concert. Why was it so wilder, Lavender? Kyron Golson. Van Halen and Prince also opened on the Stones' 81 tour as well. I didn't know Van Halen opened for the Stones. That's interesting. I knew about Prince, but not Van Halen. Did you know that David Lee Roth from Van Halen dated Apollonia, who was in Purple Rain, and Prince didn't want anybody to know that. I will be the Rolling Stones tour again. I saw the video of yours and that said, "See you soon." Yeah, well, they talked about playing till they drop. That's what Keith Richards keeps talking about. Hopefully, they won't drop for a very long time, but I feel they're going to keep going on as long as they physically can, which is cool. Stop those people who are hating on them just because they're seniors. It's horrendous. These guys can still pull it off. No one's putting a gun to anyone's head. I mean, people are clamoring to see it. So it's almost like these people have to warn you: don't go. Watch out. Be careful. No, they're going to go whether or not you warn them or not. They want to see it, and I'm glad I'm able to show proof of it, how wonderful it is. So people, some of the naysayers are like, oh, they're really not so bad after all. Will the Rolling Stones tour again? We think possibly. I was there. Lavender Love. All right. Are you from LA? How did you become a Stones enthusiast? I always loved the Rolling Stones. I thought they were very fascinating to watch in concert because of the interplay of their personalities. Their music is amazing. And some of it is just because of the response. My channel, I focus on a lot of different artists, a lot of different things, but it seems like when I do a Rolling Stones, not all of them, but a lot of them, the Rolling Stones things seem to be the most popular. So I'm like, okay, I'm getting a lot of bang for my buck here. People seem to like the Rolling Stones, So it's kind of coming out of that. It's just like basically seeing the reaction of the people. So I'm feeding off your enthusiasm as well. But I've owned all their records or video. I mean, I've been a fan for a long time. I just love them. I got into them, I think, when I was in junior high, when the album Some Girls came out. That's right. George Thorogood and the Destroyers opened some of the 81 shows. Journey 6 as well. You're right. Journey did. Let's see. This Lisa Richards. Keith praised Joe Walsh's solo in Hotel California in his autobiography. Yeah, that Joe Walsh is an amazing guitarist. As I mentioned last night, he's Ringo Starr's brother-in-law. They both married Bach girls. I think he married the Daisy Dukes girl from Dukes of Hazzard. Joe Walsh did. I'm not sure. I know Ringo married Barbara Bach. Many saints of Newark failed because the people are sick of the black-white conflict being pushed on everyone. I'm not sure what that involves. I'm not familiar with that. Have no fear, the perfect one is here. Mr. McJocelyn is here. Welcome to the live stream. Karen Gulson, Some Girls is one of the best Stones albums. Yeah, it is. It's like a perfect album. I was just listening to it the other day. It's almost like a greatest hits or something. I mean, every song on it is awesome. Brown Sugar is now woke. Then Lou Reed, Take a Walk on the Wild Side, Gotta Go also. Yeah, there's a lot of songs. They wanted to take out the band song The Night They Drove Old Dixie Down. I noticed that they played it last night as people were leaving through the loudspeakers. But again, that song was written in the framework as a person who was in the Confederate Army. I don't believe Robbie Robertson is a racist by any stretch of the term. It's getting a little bit too carried away here. The Otis Redding style of Satisfaction they played in 1989 Steel Wheels Tour is the best live version. Interesting. I have to listen to that. Cook Blues, B-side Rick's Emotion. Not familiar with that one. So they released some B-sides that they don't release on the regular one. Steve Jordan was the Letterman Show band drummer in the mid-90s. Oh, I didn't know that. It's possible. Katie Kalin was at the Stones Dodgers show. Lisa Richards. I'm not sure who Katie Kalin is. Kato Kalin. He was the guy who was living on what's his name's property, OJ's property during the murder. No, Jordan was the Letterman drummer from 82. Okay, well, you're close. I think Jordan was in and out with Letterman band 88 to mid-90s. I think I could be wrong. You will be mine. You will be mine, all mine. There you go. Emotional Rescue. Mr. McJocelyn. Quiet Riot has no original members. Wow. Irish Gorilla. Jerry, I subbed and liked. You are an awesome dude. Well, thank you. You made my day, Irish Gorilla. Um, you are awesome. Do you have, if you have a, let me know if you, it looks like you have a channel too. I can't tell. Sometimes it's just a picture there, but if you have a channel, I want to check out some of your channels as well. That's really nice of you guys. Thank you. No, Anton Fig was the Letterman drummer for around 97 till Letterman retired. Okay, Frank. I saw the Stones at JFK with Thurgood and Journey, first two shows of Tattoo You tour in '81. Yeah, those were my first Stones shows, and they were great ones, really. There's a lot of people. I saw them at the Coliseum. There must have been 100,000 people there. Seeing Mick running on the extended stage inspired me to try a run Monday morning during my walk, and I'm way younger than him. I'm glad to have found you and subscribed to you. I love the music. That's Love and Music 562. Thank you. I started running too. I was afraid I was going to be late to the concert last night at the Forum, and I parked quite a bit away because I didn't want to deal with the parking lot. The parking lot, you're basically going to be snowed in, smelling fumes for an hour, and trying to get in is horrible also. So I parked about a mile away, maybe less, 10 blocks. And I started running. I was doing a Mick Jagger, it's just, I can run for a while, like short runs. I can't do, I mean, he runs they said about 6 or 7 miles when he's in concert. They put a pedometer on him and they found that he runs a lot, like 7 miles in one show. Dylan would play 4 shows in a minor hockey arena when he comes to Toronto. Yeah, I thought he was coming to LA, but I don't see him rescheduling the Hollywood Bowl on his never-ending tour. I hope it never ends. It's awesome. No feud. McCartney, Jagger are friends having fun with the media. I think you're right. I mean, it seems such a crazy statement to talk about them as a blues cover band. That's what they did when they started, before they started writing original music. Everybody started as a garage bands. They were all garage bands. They all did cover music. Let's see. How important do you think Alexis Corner was in the music history, like Buddy Bolden? I'm not that familiar. Alexis Corner, you got to give me, Martin, you have to give me some more background on him. Anton also played on some of the Ace solo albums, such as Ace Frehley's 78 solo album. He played on Kiss Unmasked albums and Dynasty songs. All right. The Stones sued Abco and Klein over to no avail, sadly. Yeah, Klein was a problem. I think Mick Jagger now, he attends a lot of those business meetings. He's very business savvy. He really knows what's going on. So, he's one of the few rock musicians that attends the business meetings. He was, as you know, he was a accounting student back in college. He could have been a great accountant, but he's using his skills wisely now. He's not letting these people take advantage of their group financially. Glad you're into it. Good work. Well, thank you. I believe in life, when you do something that's meaningful, things that you want to do and things that you need to do, that's how you have a meaningful life. So I definitely have a passion for music. What if Paul gets with Stones and do blues? I Want to Be Your Man, the Beatles and Stones did. My theory is that McCartney made that comment to give a bit of the new life to the old Beatles, Stones. Is that what you're saying? Beatles, Stones controversy? Let me see. Wow, you guys have a lot of good comments. I hope I get to all of them. I can do 2 shows just on your comments. It says, my theory is that Paul McCartney, this is Monroe, said that give a bit of new life to the old Beatles Stones rivalry. He also made that comment the day the new Let It Be trailer was released. Yeah, and they released a lot of unreleased songs from the Let It Be from the album. So That's cool. Maybe he was trying to get some publicity. I'm sure it might have had something to do with it. Thanks for the Eagles last night, and many, many thanks for all the Stones. Oh yeah, my pleasure, guys. It's just been an amazing week, just seeing the Stones, in my hometown. What can I tell you? It's always a high point. This is amazing experience. But I think you're right. There's a connection between McCartney and getting free publicity with this. Thanks for the Eagles last night. Ron Wood didn't look good at the show. Looked ill. Hope he's okay. I saw them with Guns N' Roses. Ron Wood is going through cancer treatment, I heard, but I think he's doing better, hopefully. Get Your Yayas Out, Best Stones live album. Yeah, it is a very good album. Did they use some of the stuff from Altamont on there? I'm not sure. Stones put themselves to the music history, even with bad and good moments they had during their time. My favorite song, some of them are Sitting on a Fence, Play with Fire, and Another Land. Rough Justice is an underrated ladder. Yeah, that is. Rough Justice, Streets of Love. I posted that about a week or two ago. I love that song, Streets of Love. They played that in 2006. You're going to see the Rolling and Nasty Nathaniel is going to see the Rolling Stones in concert in Las Vegas. I want to see that. I just don't know if I'm going to be able to get to Vegas, but I'd love to see it. It's one of those opportunities in life that if you don't do, probably going to regret. Have a great time in the Vegas one. All right, a couple people saying things about Gene Simmons here. He moved to Idaho. I heard he sold his house. I don't know why is he moving to Idaho? Wants to get some fresh potatoes, maybe. Thank you so much for your fine videos. I've been so sad about Charlie, and I've been binging videos, and yours stand out. I've been a fan since I heard Satisfaction as an 11-year-old Beatles lover. Well, yeah, it was just a big blow. And I was amazed to see how many people really cared about Charlie, because he kind of like faded to the background most of the time, he was almost a tertiary character. People didn't talk, but when he passed, it was like all this love was going out to him. It was amazing. I wish he could have seen all of it in his lifetime. We should hang out sometimes. Very cool. I'm serious. We should get together and do a meetup, hang out. I saw the Mick movie. It was horrible, but if you like the Stones, it's worth it. It is kind of, dated and everything, but I liked his the songs in it and the way they produced some of the songs and worked it into them. It was almost like an extended form music video. Jiving Sister Fanny Stories songs. Sadly, the Stones have become almost completely a Stones cover band. Wow. I don't know, guys. I think if Jagger and Richards weren't there, I would agree with you. But since they're still there, I can't say it's a cover band. I wish they would jettison the repeat song set and play some of their best catalog. I agree with you. They have so many great catalog songs. They need to kind of go a little deeper. Jiving Sister is a Stones song. Listen to it. You will love it. Okay. It must be from the 60s or something. I'm not that familiar with it. Scarborough guy. Frank saw the same show in Buffalo. Okay. Could you tell us impression about Steve Jordan as a Stones drummer? Like I said, when he first came on, he was very heavy-handed, and I think he's more of a rock drummer. But I think he's cutting the mustard. I think if you wouldn't be focusing so much on it, like if I just played an audio recording of it, some of the songs, you might not notice that much that Charlie's not there. You do. I mean, you do. I do miss a lot of the subtleties and the way Charlie did that role, and it's very unique. I don't think he was given enough credit while he was alive. But what can you do? It's like everybody's going to have a little different take on it. But I think he's doing a really good job trying to stay as true to the Stones sound as he can. I mean, he's only been with them for less than 2 months. I mean, he's getting better every show. So I think he's working out. I think the audience is appreciating him. He's trying to keep the legacy going. So it's a tough one. I wouldn't want to be in the shoes, in that sense. It's a tough thing to try to come in and replace somebody who's well loved for 59 years. Frank, so we got to show him some love, give the guy a little chance, he'll rise to the occasion. Frank saw the same show in Buffalo. Could you tell us your impressions about Steve Jordan? The Stones tour opened with Patti LaBelle. I saw them in Fort Collins in '75. While people bitch about brown sugar, they have always championed black acts. That's true. The Stones really did. I think their music is very much based on African American blues artists and jazz. And you can see their band now they have a lot of African American. I don't think they're hiring them just because they're African American. They're great musicians, and that's what it should be all about, based on your musical chops. So on the 14th, Keith was so grateful to be in front of an audience. It was really cool. And then they said, "This is what I do," was moving. Okay. That was probably one of their press conferences, or maybe that was at the show. I saw the Rolling Stones in '97 during Bridges to Babylon tour. I'm really looking forward to seeing them again. You guys make me really want to go to Vegas now. It's on, what is it, November 2nd or something like that? They'll be in Vegas at this arena. Please try to put something, for example, to be able to translate from your language. That's a good point, because we have a lot of people from different countries who don't speak English, and music is kind of an international language. I think there's a way to put some, what do they call those, subtitles. I'll try to find out about how to have them released and translated. They should do that automatically for you, but I don't know. There may be a setting. Forgive me. I'm not that attuned to all that, but I would like to look into it. So, because we want to make all our non-English speakers comfortable as well. Sopranos movie, Gerry. The new Sopranos movie? Okay. Mick was influenced by James Brown due to his stage antics. Jimmy's sister Fanny was on the Stones' Metamorphosis album. Oh, okay. I have that album. It's kind of an unusual record. Cook Rocks. All right. That was a B-side. I think you said, of something from Steel Wheels. Benny and the Jets was a B-side. Really? So was Beth by Kiss. They would flip over instead of playing Detroit Rock City, they would flip it over and play Beth. That actually got more airplay. Steve Jordan is the only drummer who could have taken over for Charlie. He's doing a great job. Yeah, he's definitely doing the trip there. He was the drum tech for Charlie too. I want to get to all your questions, or comments. You have some awesome comments here, guys. Thank you. You're making this easy for me, really. I was like, what am I going to talk about? He was the drum tech for Charlie. They changed the live lyrics to Brown Sugar in '89. People need to let loose. You have a great channel. Thank you, guys. I really appreciate it. You make it all worthwhile. It's good to have a place that we could come. And it was, when we lost Charlie, it was great to have an outlet, for people to come and write their feelings and get together with other Stones fans, who were also in great distress. So it was just a nice unifying place. Steve Jordan is also an expensive wino. That's right. It was at the Coliseum in '81. Oh, wow, you were there. So you saw all this stuff that I was talking about. Now Where's My Home? Big shout out to you. I have tickets to see the Stones on the 29th in Tampa. I'm taking my 16-year-old daughter. Awesome. Give her some history to remember. Steve Jordan drummed in the Dirty Work album. Really? I didn't know that. I like the Dirty Work album. One Hit to the Body, that has a song by Jimmy Page. Okay. Robbie Robertson wrote Dixie from the standpoint of a Confederate soldier who lost everything. It's a song about the tragedy of war, also a slice of American history, and also something that they're considering banning, which is crazy because Robbie Robertson, again, wrote that from a standpoint of a Confederate. He wasn't a Confederate. He's not a racist. I like Steve Jordan intro and beat on Sympathy for the Devil. I have to jump off for a while later. Lisa, thank you. Well, thank you for all your insightful comments. I'm back. Okay, that wasn't too long. I'm glad you're back. Karen, do I win a prize for being 73 and seeing... oh, I can't. Sorry about that. 73 and seeing Stones at Maple Leaf Gardens, Toronto. 65, not 64. Clarification, my girlfriend hit Keith on the hand with an apple. He stopped playing for a minute. I'm rooting for you to win a prize, definitely. You definitely deserve. You've put a lot of effort into your being a dedicated Stones fan. Stephanie Herring Tonio, some of Altamont was on Yaya's. You're right. Because that part where they said, paint it black, you devils. And they were yelling it. And somebody was yelling it when I was filming the concert the other night. Did you hear it? They were saying, paint it black, you devils. I was like, wow. A little blast from your past here. I've been to 29 shows, love Charlie, but Steve Jordan gives the band a nice boost. Rock on, Forever Boys. Yeah, I think he's pumping some new life into the band, and it's, I never thought they were going to be able to continue without Bill, and Bill Wyman left. And, it's not the same without him, but, these guys are survivors. They keep moving. They're resilient. What can I tell you? Rock on forever, boys. I'm into that. Let me just move this. This cursor just flies if I go too fast. Alexis Corner was central in the British music scene, possible key person connecting musicians. Many band members grew up in that environment. Alexis Corner, a great artist in his own rights. Lisa Richards says Alexis was very influential. Not sure that the Stones should continue for Charlie. Sounded different with Steve, but I guess the Stones got to keep moving. Yeah, it's about resilience. It's like you lose a member of your family. Do you just stop and kill yourself? I mean, no, you got to keep moving, right? That's what your family would want. It's a tough concept, but the music is really what's important, and I'm glad that they're dedicating every show to Charlie's memory. But think of all the people who didn't get to see. If they would have stopped, imagine all the next generation of people who could have got the chance to see it, wouldn't have been able to see them. Not sure that the Stones should continue without not for LOL. I saw them in 64 Skullburger, San Bernardino Swing Auditorium. And there was the Doors played there also. Brown Sugar publicity grab last week. They ain't played it since 19 something. Ronnie is cancer free of this April. That's good. I hope he stays that way. Great guy. Just subscribed. Like the live stream. Oh, well, thank you for subscribing, guys. I really appreciate it. It means a lot to me. Stephanie Herring Tonio, Charlie was always loved. There was even a film named after him. Charlie is my darling. That's true. I think that was a documentary, right? Wow, Skullburger. Wow, 1964. Finally managed to see the Stones in London the other year. Had waited a while. Awesome. One of my best days of my life. That's cool. Why listen to the Beatles when you have the Stones? Okay. I think there's room in the world for both of them. All right. Stones did blues, rock, disco, pop ballads. Yeah, they had a lot of variety there. Steve's favorite performance was on Letterman in the 80s when he got to drum for James Brown. James Brown asked the band what songs they wanted to play, and he ended up stealing the bass player. Interesting. how is Keith still alive? He's been on the Deadpool for like 40 years. I don't understand it, but another case of resilience. I was just talking about Keith and the time he fell on stage. He broke a rib, right? Did he? Or he bruised his rib. I'm not sure if he broke it or bruised it. Thank you. Jerry's automatic is a good idea. Automatic translate. I'll see if there's a way to do that. Please try. I'm a fan of yours, even if I'm 80 years old, because my English left me now. Stones did so much with the confines of the blues and rock. Also, how it seems Mick has never fallen on stage was amazing, considering how much he moved. I know. So Mick is like dancing and he's moving backwards, and this. I'm like, no, don't do that. You're gonna fall. Be careful. And he's so agile. But I've noticed Mick. There's no footage of Mick falling. There's hardly any footage of him even flubbing up lyrics. I mean, the guy's got a mind like a steel trap. He's very, very, and very smart, very intuitive, and he's a perfectionist. Stones did so much within the confines of blues and rock. Also, how it seems Mick has never. Yeah, okay, we saw that one. Oops. Great channel, Jerry. Tough work taping a whole show. Bruce Stewart. I know it's blasphemous, but it seems like the Stones sound a little more exciting now that Jordan plays at a faster pace. I'm digging it. Rank. Yeah, anytime you get a new member, you're gonna pump new life into the group. In that sense, they're always gonna bring something new to the table. Weirdly, I bumped into Don West twice, different spot. I saw him also on Sunset at a dental office. He gets in the elevator. I'm like, hey, you're Don Was. He was really nice. We took a photo together. He's the guy that produces the Stones and other famous group. Don Was. Weirdly, I bumped into Don Was. Okay, seems like the Rolling Stones should have an English rhythm section, not American. Just saying. I don't know. Sorry it's late here in England. Keith hasn't done dope since he was married to Patty Hansen in 10 years, early 80s. That's why he's still here. And I don't think he injected heroin. I think he just smoked heroin, which is not that great either. Saw Gene Simmons at Century City Mall food court. Yeah, he was like always hanging out there. Now I guess he's in Idaho. Somebody's telling me. I don't know why he moved there. Seen Kiss a couple of times. The Hot in the Shade show was amazing. Don Was, not was. Okay. Was an amazing band. Okay. Gotta like your channel. Thanks for streaming. Keep on reeling and rocking. Thank you. Gotta love your comments. Let's see. I want to get to all of them. There's just so many good ones. Mick has forgot a few things in the band introduction section. I forgot to mention Daryl recently. Wow. Mick is great. He hasn't made Daryl a member because they don't want to pay them full salary. They can give them musicians' wages if they're not full official members. You guys know that, right? All right. I would have thought Keith has smoked weed, but no way does he do hard drugs anymore. You can't be that focused to do stuff still. It'd be interesting to hear a new album with Steve Jordan. The dynamic of the band has changed. I saw Rolling Stones in 1981 in Chicago when Ronnie Wood was high on crack. John wrote that one. Did I get to the bottom? No, I didn't get to the bottom, right? I did. I think I got to all of your comments. I can't believe it. There were so many awesome comments, guys. I didn't know this was going to last as long as it did. I'm so glad you all came aboard. You made it easy because we were just talking about the Stones, and I I work with senior citizens too. I do music with them, and for years I've been playing with seniors, and I try to advocate for the rights. It seems like people are okay with trashing people who are older or discriminating against them, and it's just not cool. So I don't think the age has anything to do with it, really. It's just how you feel and are you able to do it? And they're still able to pull it off, guys. They're still in their prime. Believe it or not, they're still writing great songs. They're still performing great music, and it's clear. You can see it. Um, it says, you think Stones will take their tour to Europe after USA? Keith wrote that in his book. Okay. Well, um, maybe they will. I mean, I think they love to tour. I think that it's something they like to do, and I'm glad they're spacing it out. They're going kind of like maybe sometimes 3-4 days, in between concerts. It gives them time to rest. No Jones, no Stones. Okay, guys, Jones left over 50 years ago. Imagine all the great history of the Stones that would be missed if they stopped. Mick was accepted to go to the London School of Economics. Many compare it to Harvard Business School, and he gave it up for rock and roll, made millions. And imagine if these guys, ended up doing what the parents told them they should do. And he told Elvis, you never make any money playing that guitar, and it's incredible. But I'm finding out later in life that you really need to do what's your passion, what you feel strongly about, what you want to do, and what you like to do should be merged. And that way you can have a more meaningful life, and you can actually do better. What do they say in that Already Gone? Something, we hold the keys to our own prison sometimes. We think we have to keep doing things a certain way. I, for one, am very grateful they're still going, whatever iteration they need to be. Yeah, but you wouldn't have the Rolling Stones without creator Brian Jones, but I get your point. Yeah, I mean, definitely. Brian Jones was the guy who got it all together, and it was sad the way he was treated. But then again, he wasn't, back then, I don't know if they knew about rehab and all that stuff. It was a different world. We're kind of historical revisionism. The drummer ain't cutting it. Get someone who sounds at least a little bit like Charlie. It's going to be hard to find somebody like that. He was just a one in a million. Yes, the musicians got to play. Plus, why would they stop? There's so many people who rely on the Rolling Stones. They need that to check. Thank you for your videos. Enjoyed them. That was Tammy White. Oh, I'm glad you're enjoying the videos. It's just like I get inspired. I said, well, I'm on a mission. I got to release this video. I got to talk about there's a news story, So I'm glad you're enjoying it. I could really do it full time, but I try to slot it in with all the other important stuff I got to do. But it's definitely something that really gives me a lot of happiness and artistic expression. Thank you for your videos. Enjoyed them. Mark Duvall, what's I'm saying need English rhythm section. You think you need some more pasty white British guys up there? I don't know. I think it's just whoever plays music best, whatever nationality you are, But yeah, it definitely changes them. But just like I said, the Stones were always influenced by other nationalities and other types of music. Stones actually played a live TV gig here in England when COVID hit with no audience to raise money. Brian was a mess up, I'll say. Thank you for your work. Just subscribe. Hey, David, thank you for subscribing. That means a lot to me. We know about rehab now, but look at Amy Winehouse. Seeing her stage at the end was tragic. Gene used to go to Century City Mall a lot. I saw him in Shannon there. Yeah. We'll have to go to Idaho now to find him. The book on Brian was interesting. Maybe he got a bad deal off Mick and Keith, but he didn't help himself. I saw them in 2018 in Prague, Europe. Amazing show. Friends said that I sat in the car and drove from Croatia to Czech Republic to see them. I'll never forget that day. Oh, you are a dedicated fan. God bless you. In 1994, the Stones put out the song "Love Is Strong," and that was a great song. I love that. Yeah, my love is strong. That was that video where the Stones look really tall. It was kind of like the Nutty Professor scene. Remember when he got really large? They were doing a lot of videos like that in the 90s. No, it's a matter of approach to music, similar backgrounds. This is likely their last tour. We've been saying that for quite a while. Think that Van Halen opened the Tampa New Orleans show in '81. Very interesting. I didn't know that. Randy Ranson is now. That's funny. Randy Ranson. Okay. Video for Love Is Strong is awesome. They're not in it for the money anymore, I think. They can't live without the gigs. It's just who they are. Greetings from Croatia. Hi, we got so many cool people from Croatia. Awesome. Thanks. And I'm only 27. That's right. This music, I was thinking about it when I was a kid. If I was listening to music that was 50 years old, I would be listening to the Charleston and 1920s music, and it was so non-relevant to what we were going on. And I think the Stones music is very relevant even to this day. You just relate to it. Thanks. And you see them playing Rocks Off. The drummer was trying to be like Charlie, but man, he was stiff. He looks a little like Ray Charles with the sunglasses, or Stevie Wonder. Sometimes I see him on the screen. I'm like, wait a second. I know that guy. It looks like young Stevie Wonder. I did see them playing Rocks Off. That was cool to see them do a song they hadn't done in a while. I'm a pasty white guy from the UK. The reason why I bring that up is one of the reviewers used those terms. No offense, so hopefully. No, it's real. Have you seen the reviews from Steve about Let It Bleed, Goat's Head, and Black and Blue? He's really true and through Stones fan. I didn't know that. Fan from the heart. Really worth it to watch. Flip side CT on YouTube. I heard the Rolling Stones are doing costume changes during the show, a la Cher and Taylor Swift. I think Jagger is definitely doing wardrobe changes. He's putting on different jackets and shirts, and I don't know about the other guys so much, but I know Jagger is definitely. Maybe Ron Wood is also. What time is it in Croatia? It's 1 a.m. I miss Mick Taylor. I saw the Stones in Tel Aviv. God bless you. Wow, that's cool. But had a medical emergency. I'm sorry you missed it. I don't think they played Israel for a while. I didn't know they were there in 2014. Wow, that is cool. I have to go out to pick up a family member, but I really appreciate it. I feel bad about leaving. I have separation anxiety, but we should do this more often. I really love. I'm sorry I'm not able to chat with you while I'm at the concerts, because I'm trying to avoid security most of the time. Put that thing away, mister. I'm like, no, the people in Croatia need to see the end of this concert. I can't put it away. Anyway, so I would definitely love to chat with you guys again, open chats as much as possible. Is this like when I'm at the show's filming? I hope nobody was offended by it. It's just I'm not able to moderate it, and then sometimes there's these troll people, not many, a few, who kind of run rampant, when the cat's away, the mice will play, or whatever it is. So it's just kind of distracting. So I really want, I want to be a part of the chat, but it's hard when you're filming. So thank you for understanding that. And Mick often has costume changes during the show. Wardrobe changes, rock and roll don't mix. I've missed the review. What was your brief recaps of the LA shows? Amazing. I really think that they're still in their prime, guys. Contrary to what some of these naysayers say, the Stones sounded amazing. They're still performing with high energy. The songs are still meaningful. What else can I say? It's just inspiring. That's my review in a nutshell. And if you don't believe me, go back and watch some of the videos. You'll see it yourself. I loved Ian Stewart too. I think George. That's why I haven't really done much reviews, because I think the music needs to do the talking for itself. You notice that I didn't really purposely didn't do a review of the show, because I'm like, here it is, guys. You know, you don't need a review. Listen to it, watch it. It's really powerful. Sometimes people just talk about music, but they don't show it to you. I really believe in bringing the music to the people. I think Steve Jordan is a good job playing in the style of Charlie. Thanks for everything, friend. Yeah, he's definitely doing a great job. He's under a lot of pressure. It's good seeing you. Shall follow. Great show. Nice meeting you. Nice meeting all of you. Thank you guys for coming. Well, the Stones, they claim that they're leaving it open. Maybe they will revisit it. They could. Rock and roll. Your shirt should burn holes, and your pants should have been stains. I don't understand that. Thanks for a brief review. I'm going back to bed and get on a sunbed tomorrow. It sounds good. And my shirt is distressed, guys, but it's new. I got it at the concert. I liked it because it kind of looks distressed, but it's actually a 2021 tour shirt. Anyway, nice meeting everybody. Stephanie, rock and roll at dad as long as I'm alive. That's my, I love that. Exactly. We're keeping it alive, keeping the rare music alive, keeping it all going. I am going to thanks for your work, DJ. I've always loved the Stones over the Beatles. Okay, well, I love it all. And but everybody has preferences. Age has nothing to do with it. It's right, because some people could be old at age 20 and some people could be young at age 78, and I think Mick Jagger proved that. Anyway, we will I'm gonna have to hit the road because I'm kind of late and picking somebody up. I didn't know we were going to go this long. Thanks to Cami. I'm sorry we couldn't get her on the cam, but I would like to do another collab with her, and so you guys could meet her. She's from Brazil, and she is a lot of fun, and she knows a lot about music. And I look like Fred Gwynn, and I like the Mick Taylor one. I don't know about the Fred Gwynn. Lily, I won't. Anyway, what kind of world are we going to leave for Keith? I think that's what we have to think about. And I got to go to Rand with Elvis. Thank you, people. Take care. All right. Well, bye-bye, everybody. Don't forget to stay healthy, stay happy, stay successful, and stay lucky. And most of all, keep on rocking, everybody. Bye-bye.